Hello, I'm Brandon Hahn. I'm with McLean Black Lake Fire Department, and I'm going to take you through the BW Quattro gas monitors. Some of the things we're going to talk about is what gases it detects, the hazards of gases, maintenance and safety considerations. So the gases that it detects 4 gases: hydrogen sulfide, carbon monoxide, oxygen, and LEL, which is combustible gases, lower explosive load. So of the measuring range for hydrogen sulfide, also known as H2S, is 0 to 200 parts per million. Of carbon monoxide, it's 0 to 1,000 parts per million. Oxygen is 0 to 30%, and the LEL is 0 to 100%. So hydrogen sulfide, it's colorless, flammable, extremely hazardous gas with a rotten egg smell. It occurs naturally in crude petroleum and natural gas, and can be produced in the breakdown of organic matter and human/animal waste. Example is sewage. It is heavier than air and can collect low-lying and enclosed, poorly ventilated areas such as basements, manholes, sewer lines, and underground telephone/electrical vaults. Some H2S, the LEL4 is 100 parts per million. So right at the lowest that we have is a 0.00011 to 0.00033, super duper small, is a typical background concentration, what we have here, okay? And then about 20%, you'll start to get possible, we'll kind of bounce around, 20% you'll get possible fatigue, loss of appetite, headache, and irritability, poor memory, and dizziness. At 100 parts per million, you get coughing, and this is the IDLH. You have coughing, eye irritation, loss of smell after 2 to 15 minutes, and altered breathing, drowsiness after 15 to 30 minutes, throat irritation after 1 hour, gradual increase in severity of symptoms over several hours. Death may occur after 48 hours. Okay. Then at 1,000 to 2,000, nearly instant death. One gulp of air of this, and you're dead. Next, we're going to talk about oxygen. The IDLH is less than 19.5%. So at 20.9, that's normal. That's what's in our atmosphere right now. At 19.5, again, that's IDLH. That's going to be the minimum acceptable oxygen level. Okay, we don't want to go below that. We'll bounce around 12 to 14%. You'll have respiratory increases, and you'll have poor judgment. At 8 to 10%, mental failure, fainting, nausea, unconsciousness, and vomiting. At 4 to 6%, coma in 40 seconds, and death. Carbon monoxide, CO. Carbon monoxide is a poisonous, colorless, odorless, and tasteless gas. Although it is no detectable odor, CO is often mixed with other gases that do have an odor. So you can inhale carbon monoxide right along with gases that you can smell and not even know that CO is present. CO is a common industrial hazard resulting from the incomplete burning of natural gas and any other material containing carbon, such as gasoline, kerosene, oil, propane, etc. One of the most common sources of exposure in the workplace is the internal combustion engine, so vehicles and such. So IDLH for CO can be 1,200 parts per million. At 50 parts per million, there's no adverse effects with 8 hours of exposure. Okay, 200 parts per million, mild headache after 2 to 3 hours of exposure. 800, we got headache, nausea, dizziness after 45 minutes, collapse, and loss of consciousness after 1 hour of exposure. At, we'll go 1600, you got headache, nausea, dizziness after 20 minutes of exposure. At the very last, at 12,800, you have immediate physiological effects, loss of consciousness, and danger of death after 1 to 3 minutes of exposure. LEL, we got the ratio of fuel and oxygen that is required varies in each combustible gas or vapor. The minimum concentrate of a particular combustible gas or vapor necessary to support its combustion in air is defined as a lower explosive limit, LEL, for that gas. Below this level, the mixture is too lean to burn. So the LEL at 10% is going to go off, and then the high alarm is at 20%. Here's some alarm set points to kind of reiterate. The high alarms for H2S, 15 parts per million, and the low is going to be at 10 parts per million. Oxygen high, 23.5, low, 19.5. CO 200 is low. CO high is 35 parts per million, or sorry, low is 35 parts per million. High on LEL is 20%, and low on LEL is 10%. Maintenance, you should bump test your gas monitor monthly, and then you should calibrate it every 180 days. With your department, your maintenance will be outlined with your gas monitor specialist if they've changed that. But for McLean Black Lake, that's what we do. And if you find any kind of issue, always tag it, put it out of service, notify your specialist, and they'll take a look at it. Some safety considerations. When turning on and off the units, you want to make sure that you're in a clean environment. Well, I tell my guys if we're on a call to always turn it on away from the engine, away from the exhaust. In the morning time, do not check your gas monitor with blowing on the CO monitor or putting it by any kind of exhaust. That will make your sensors go bad a lot sooner. Also, if you suspect a bad atmosphere, don't enter without a gas monitor and SCBA on air with PPE. Lockout, tagout, utilities, think about that. And then lastly, call sort, or hazmat, other. If you come into one of those situations that you're using it, you should probably call for extra resources. All right, and thank you very much.